Today, we're going to dive into the really unique and honestly powerful philosophy of Matthew McConaughey. And look, let's forget the Hollywood persona for a minute. We're going to break down his core principles for living a more vital, more meaningful life, and we'll use his own words to guide us through his thoughts on risk, time, and what it actually means to succeed. Right off the bat, he kicks things off with a real gut punch. This quote is a direct challenge to our modern obsession with playing it safe. It's not just a clever line, it's a fundamental question about the very nature of a life worth living, and it really sets the stage for everything else he talks about.
Okay, so let's get into it. Here's the roadmap for today. We'll start with what he calls the virtue of risk, and then explore how to model the rise, not the result. From there, we'll tackle our relationship with time, dig into the crucial difference between being a nice guy and a good man, and finally, we'll redefine what it means to achieve success with profit.
First up, the virtue of risk. McConaughey really believes that taking chances, and yeah, even failing, is absolutely essential for growth. So why is it not just okay, but actually good to miss the mark? Well, he starts by reclaiming this word, sin. For him, it's not a moral judgment. It's the original definition of the word, to miss the mark. It's just what happens when you aim for something big, when you take a real shot instead of the easy one. It's an outcome of ambition, not a failure of character. And this really illustrates his philosophy perfectly. He's asking a question. What's the better bet? Taking 8 pretty safe risks and winning 7 times, or taking 100 ambitious risks and only winning 8? He argues you gotta play the bigger game. Because even with way more misses, the scale of the attempt and the value of those 8 wins are just infinitely more meaningful. This quote just brilliantly sums up the cost of playing that high-stakes game. Meaningful risk, it demands sacrifice. It's about having the foresight and the discipline to pass up the small, easy wins right now for the chance at something truly great down the line. And this whole idea of strategic sacrifice, it builds directly into our second principle. See, taking risks isn't about being reckless, it's about being smart with the journey itself. You have to model the rise. So here's the crucial point. We are obsessed with the highlight reels of successful people. We see where they are now and we try to copy it. McConaughey says that's completely backward. The real lessons, the real gold, isn't in the result, it's in the rise. He uses Warren Buffett as a perfect example. Asking Buffett what he does now, reading old books, is totally useless for someone who's just starting out. You need to ask what he did then. Back then, he was a hustler, kind of an outlaw, completely out of balance, just navigating the dark times. That's where the blueprint is. Okay, next up, let's tackle one of the biggest anxieties of modern life. This feeling that we are constantly, desperately running out of time. McConaughey's take? Time is not the enemy. He pushes back, and he pushes back hard against this frantic pressure to rush, to get ahead of time, to cram more into every single minute. Instead, he proposes a really radical shift. What if we just trusted its pace? What if we started seeing time as an ally?
He's got this simple Lego set analogy that just brings the whole concept to life. If you rush the build and you ignore the instructions, you always end up with those leftover pieces, right? The structure might be standing, but the foundation is weak.
And that's really the takeaway. Time is our one non-negotiable resource. So instead of fighting a battle you can't possibly win, the goal is to work with it, embracing its pace so you can focus on the quality of your construction, not just the speed. So this brings us to some really personal territory, where McConaughey actually applied these ideas to his own career. He felt this growing disconnect, and he framed it as a conflict between being a nice guy and being a good man.
This is him describing the absolute peak of his romantic comedy fame. In his personal life, with a child on the way, he said he felt feral with masculinity. But his work? It felt shallow, limited to a persona that just didn't reflect the man he was becoming. He felt, in his words, neutered by niceness.
So he draws this really sharp distinction between the two. The nice guy of the rom-com, he exists in a world of light, buoyant emotions, and he avoids conflict at all costs. But the good man, the hero of a drama, he has depth. He stands for something, and he stands against something. He has a foundation.
Now, crucially, this is not a call for aggression. It's a call for integrity. A good man isn't out there looking for a fight, but he has clear boundaries and he has the character to defend them when they're trespassed upon. He stands his ground. And finally, all of these ideas, risk, modeling the rise, respecting time, building character, they all come together in his redefinition of success itself. He calls it success with profit. But again, he's totally redefining the word profit. Isn't just money in the bank. For McConaughey, profit is the quality of your life that comes along with the quantity of your success. It's the measure of how much you're actually enjoying the ride. Let's break this down. Conventional success chases quantity, money, toys, assets, and it often leads to burnout and poor relationships. Success with profit, on the other hand, measures quality, enjoyment, relationships. The whole question shifts from how much do you have to how well are you living?
So, we'll leave you with the question that's at the very heart of his philosophy. And it's a challenge not just to how we work, but to how we live. When you look at your own life, what are you measuring? Is it the quantity of your achievements, or is it the quality of your existence?